Greetings, family, on this beautiful sunrise, this beginning of a day, a brand new day. I was just sitting here thinking about the word suffering and hope. Suffering and hope. Many people ask, why do you use two heavy elements to compound a sermon? Like why is suffering and hope a big impact of a dynamic sermon? I truly believe that suffering and hope is like your pros and cons. Suffering and hope, it's like your beginning and end. Suffering and hope is through the teaching of what you should do and what you need to do. See, I truly believe that for us, the children of the Most High God, we have suffered. Some of us, we suffer, but we lose hope. The reason why I say suffering and hope is two dynamic elements, because in my life, I can relate. I've suffered for 20 years and I still am suffering, but through the suffering, I still have hope. There's so many trials and tribulations that I'm facing, and my queen and my family are facing. And I preached this before. If you watch the other messages, I preached this, that no matter what you do, you should always embrace your sufferings, because if you really are connected to God, your sufferings is a connection to your hope. Your hope is connection to the man that sits on that throne of grace. When you suffer, when you actually go through something, because see, some of us, right, we like to proclaim that we're going through a lot. We like to proclaim that we have a testimony to tell, but how can you have a testimony if you have not been tested yet? But that ties back into suffering. Suffering is a toxic chemical that the children of God has been injected with our whole life. We've suffered. We faint, but we're not broken. Through the sufferings comes hope. You see, my life, I've suffered. I cry, I faint, I mourn, I bend, I bow. It brings me to my knees because the amount of suffering I face. But see, no matter how bad I suffer, I still got hope that I eventually will get through the suffering. See, some of us are scared to admit to ourselves that I'm suffering because I am scared. I'm scared that the suffering, I'm not strong enough to get through the suffering. I'm not wise enough to understand the suffering, so I can't get through the suffering. You know what I'm saying? This is one story that I like. I love it so much. I love it so much because this is one of the biggest stories in my life. Right. I went to a middle school called Roberto Clemente, Germantown, Maryland. Right. And on this one day, I received a text message. I see the text message was from a pastor down in Prince George's County. See, you have to understand, I've been preaching since 2006. So the ministry has already been extended for me, right? So through the time of me laboring and praying and fasting, I got an invitation to come preach. Right. So immediately I called my professor. You know, she asked me to the location and stuff, and she asked me the date and time, and I told her everything, and she knew the pastor. So we all was driving down. But see, driving down this road, right, my spirit was shaking me. So yeah, keep going, keep going. But once you hit that certain road, I'm gonna need you to stop the car. So we're driving and I'm looking around, cause see, when God speaks, I like to be in tune to when He speaks. So I'm looking around, and we get to like, it's like this. It's a neighborhood, like on, like, it was neighbor right here, but like blocks down, it's like a big field, you know, with like a big drive-through that goes into like the woods and stuff, or goes to another area. So I'm driving down, and my professor, she's in the driver's seat, I'm in the passenger seat. So we're looking, and you know how you see the homeless people, they got the signs and stuff. But instead of a homeless person with a sign, it was a little kid, bruised up and battered. There's a little kid, you know, on the outside of her, she showed the scars. On the outside of her, she showed the sufferings. On the outside of her, she showed the pain, the tears. On the outside of her, she showed the agony. On the outside of her, she showed the battle wounds. On the outside of her, she showed where they attacked her. On the outside of her, she showed the suffering she had to deal with. On the outside of her, she showed the bruises, the lumps, the scars. She showed it all. That was her sufferings. So we're driving still, and we noticed the girl. Like I told you, this is my belief. I believe she came from that neighborhood that was blocks down, because the road we took to get to the church. Because if we didn't stop the church, we would have been 15 minutes, we had 15 minutes to go. But we stopped because the voice of God was telling us we had an assignment to do. So, who helped me? I believe she came from a neighborhood that was blocks down. So I'm sitting here, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, what should we do? Because see, my professor, she's like my mom. So I'm asking, Mom, what should we do? And she was like, what do you think is right to do? So in my mind, I'm a young kid. I'm young. I don't know nothing about that. Just because I'm preaching, that don't mean like I know anything about taking care of a child. So we're talking to her. I'm introducing myself because I didn't want to just get out the car, run up on her, and she get nervous. Then you don't know who's watching. They'd be like, "Oh, that black kid's after that little girl." So I introduced myself and I asked her was she alright. And as I'm examining it, I see like the scars. And I'm looking at this baby. I'm like, what in the world happened to you? So I told her this. I said, I have to go preach. Do you want to come? I'm not going to leave you here. So the baby, she grabbed my arm, put it in the back of the car. So we went down to the church, and I asked her, I said, I don't want to force you to come in, because I see you're in a different position. That if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't want to get out in either. No, she still got out the car. So I'm in the pulpit, about to get ready to step and stand. And that same day, I preached from Mark, the 5th chapter, verse 25. And my sermon was, I'm about to break loose. About to break loose. And see, before we got the baby, right, I was going to preach from Job. Book of Job. Because the Bible says that Job was recorded, that yet he slayed me, yet will I trust in him. So it's going to preach on, you should trust Jesus. But the baby, I felt that anointing coming out of her. So the sermon I had, I left in the car. It's the first time I ever stepped in a pulpit, and I preached from the heart. So after we was done preaching, we had the prayer, got out the pulpit, brought the baby up, and we sat there and we prayed. We prayed, and prayed. After we left the church, I was still asking my professor, the Revrend Dr. Alison Johnson Sr. After I said, Mom, what should we do? So she said, we can't leave her out here by herself. So we took her to her house. And every time after school, I would go and visit the baby. And let me tell y'all how good God is. I have no kids, but by God's grace, prayerfully in the near future, wink, wink, God will anoint a seed, allow it to be a beautiful woman of God, a man of God. But the baby spoke up to me. We brought her to the house. She got her own little room. And I didn't know what to do. So I say, you want to get cleaned up or something? So I think at the time, my professor, she was doing something. So the baby, she's yanking on me. So I was like, yeah, I don't know. Because I'm a male, so I didn't know if she felt comfortable having another male, because I don't know what their experience is. We can't judge on something we don't know, because knock on wood, I didn't know if the baby would have been touched or something, or sexual abuse. So I was like, I don't know, but the baby, she's yanking on me. So brought the baby in, and she had some extra pairs of clothes, washed her up. And while I'm washing her up, I see the bruises and the scars, the lumps. So I went downstairs to the medicine cabinet, took out bandages, I cleaned as much as I could up. Some of me had to use makeup. After we was done, gave her some nourishment. She got into bed, and each time before I leave, she asked me to tuck her in. So I'm tucking her in. She spoke these beautiful words. to me. Beautiful words to me. You're going to be a great father. I'm looking at this baby. I was like, you're this young, but you speaking that much wisdom and love. So ever since that day, until my professor found her home, I've always stood. We prayed together. You know, I tried to get her open up. She opened up to me a lot. You know. But you may ask me, what does that have to do with suffering and hope? I'm glad you asked me. This baby went through hell and back. Walked out with bruises, blood, and many scars. But I believe that baby sat on the sideline, knowing that God was going to answer her prayers. I believe that baby sat on the sideline. The coach could have put her in the game, but she wanted to be on the sideline. I believe that she knew her sufferings was already bad enough, but she still kept hope. And when she kept the hope got her through the sufferings. When she kept the hope, it shook up the atmosphere to alert God's angels to come to her rescue. Because she kept the hope. No matter what she went through her past, she still kept hope. Now when I look at the baby girl, Kayla Monica Dixson, I can truly say, because of hope, this baby is now doing better than I was when I was her age. Now when I look at her now, you don't see no marks, no bruises, no scars, no aches, no pains. It's just, let's talk about some Jesus. Because he is our hope. I come to you and I bring you this because so many of us sit on our sideline and we throw in our towel. But you need to sit on that sideline and really believe that God is going to send an angel to come get you. See, the sideline was a suffering. But she got off that sideline and got put in the game. Once she got put in the game, she played with some hope. And she played with hope to realize that I'm going to get out this situation. When she has hope, you can look at me and you can see the scars. You can see the aches and pains. You can see the sufferings. You can see the hell I've been through. But once you keep some hope, that can clean all of it up. I encourage you all, be like baby Kayla. Go do something. But while you're going through it, keep the hope. Because hope will get you through your sufferings. No matter what people say to you, no matter what people put you through, no matter what people put in your mind, no matter who's bringing you down, keep the hope. Because hope is a strong element. That's what's going to get you through divine sufferings. Keep the hope. Kayla's a big shouting moment. God could take some scars, make it into a masterpiece. He could take pain, turn to praise. He could take, that hurt too. Oh, bless his name, I'm feeling better. Suffering to hope. Suffering to hope. Hope conquers suffering. Alright, thank you for another day, y'all. And this is something I just wanted to bring to you guys. Just remember, y'all, be like Kayla. Don't be ashamed of your wounds. Don't be ashamed of what you've been through. As long as you keep the hope, you'll be just fine. As long as you know that God, trust me, He sees everything that goes on. But you gotta keep the hope. And know that our Father who sits in heaven, He will send His angels to disperse, to protect us. It might not seem like the angels are watching us because we've been through a lot. But my brothers and sisters, I need you to know this now. Just because you've been through a lot, that don't mean your life is over. Just because people talk or attack you, that don't mean your life is over. Put your foot down, keep your chest up, and keep the hope. Because hope will get you through your sufferings. All right.